In the eCraftshop Pro section, we looked at some of the basic functionality that the software would let you achieve with your cutting machine. In this section, we're going to take that one step further and look at some more advanced functions with your eCraftshop Pro software. To begin, we're going to look at selecting multiple shapes and how to join them together. Select the shape from the options available. We're going to use the octagon. Insert the octagon onto your cutting grid, and as we've done before, resize it until it's a size and shape that you're happy with. While it's still selected, go to the toolbar at the top of the screen, copy the image, and then paste, and a second image will appear below. We can then move this anywhere on the cutting grid. What I'd like to do is join these two shapes together to create a decorative fold card. If I move the second shape right alongside the first one, what would happen is we would get a cut line which would separate them down the centre. We can see what it's going to cut like by using the preview button on the toolbar at the top of the screen. When we click preview, a preview screen is presented to show you how this shape will cut, and we have still got a cutting line in the centre of these two shapes. To prevent that, what we can do is select more than one of the shapes by using the multi-select tool. The multi-select tool is this shape here with two boxes joining together. To multi-select, click on the multi-select tool, drag a box over the two shapes, which will select both of them. Point to your selection toolbar here, and in the weld, which means join, box, pop in a little tick. Now when we go back to the preview option, what you'll be able to see is that the cutting line in the centre is no longer there. We've successfully joined these two shapes, and it will cut as one complete image, which you could then fold in half and make a decorative shaped card base. The weld feature is very useful when working with words. Select all of the letters you would like to work with onto your page as separate letters. Exactly as we did before, you'll be able to see by using the preview tool that each one of these letters is going to cut separately. To join those letters together, move them using the move button on each of the letters so that they overlap in the position you would like them to be when the words cut out. Then, using your multi-select tool again, drag a box over all of those letters, point to the weld box, pop in a tick, and when you go back to preview, you can see now that the word love will cut as one solid shape. That is a really useful feature for creating really stunning projects. I'd now like to show you how to use draw lines and cut lines in conjunction with one another. What we're going to do is select a shape, again from the Fundamentals 1 category. We're going to choose tags, and we're going to pick one of these really usable tag shapes. Click on the shape and it will be inserted onto the cutting grid. Resize the shape, as you've seen before, to a size that you are happy with. What I'm then going to do is select the text tool here from the left of the screen. Click onto my cutting grid. I'm going to make sure that I have a font selected that I'm happy with, which I am, and I'm then going to type in the word that I would like to write in the middle of this tag. So we're going to type the word love. I've chosen a very fancy script font so that you can see the detail you will be able to achieve with this function. Move that word into the middle of your tag, and if you would like to, resize it so that you're happy with the position and how your finished project will look. To change this from a cut line, which it is currently because it's black, to a pen line or a draw line, make sure the word is selected. point to the right of the screen here on your selection bar, click into the little radio button just before drawline, and you'll be able to see that the colour of that word has changed, which represents that this is something which will now be drawn with the pen rather than cut with the blade. When you're happy with that, all you need to do is point to your toolbar at the top of the screen, click on the Send to eCraft button. This screen will be presented to you, which checks that you have got the Fundamentals 1 cartridge inserted into the machine. So it's checking that you own the cartridge before you can cut with the shape. Click on check. It will perform the necessary check for you. Green thumbs up means you're okay to cut. Click on proceed to cut. We're feeding the paper from the front and the shape will cut. The eCraft will now write the word love and then cut out the tag shape. The eCraft is now cutting. The clicking sound you can hear when it's cutting is perfectly normal, and it's just the tabs being left for you to pop out the shape. So once it's finished drawing and cutting, simply feed it out of the machine using the down arrow. Pop out your shape from the backing paper. And you can see you have a beautiful tag with the word love in the middle, which has been achieved by using the drawing pen. I'd now like to show you a really useful feature called autofill. Autofill will allow you to fill a page with as many of the same image as you can fit. To do that, simply choose the image you would like to use, and we're going to use again Fundamentals 1 cartridge. We're going to select one of the lovely floral shapes, which is now inserted onto the cutting grid. Resize the flower shape to however large you would like it to appear, and then using the autofill feature, which is this button here, which looks a little bit like a brick wall, click on the button and you will be presented with this window to choose your options. Enter the gap between each object is the space that will appear between each flower shape when it's cut. We'll set this at around about 3, but you can always change that later. And then number of repetition is how many of this size and shape of flower you would like to cut. We're going to cut 20. Once we've made those selections, click on OK, and your cutting grid will be filled with 20 of exactly the same size and shape of flower. This is particularly useful when you're batch making or making several shapes of the same size, meaning you only have to carry out that function once. Now what I'd like to do is show you how to import and cut an SVG file. SVG files are scalable vector graphics, which are cutting files that can be cut with electronic cutters. The eCraftshop Pro will allow you to cut any SVG file. What I've done is download from the internet an SVG file. To import the SVG file, I'll point to the Import SVG button on the toolbar. Click on the button and then, using the browser, browse to wherever you have saved your files and then choose the one you would like to insert. We're going to cut out a scalloped cupcake holder. I'm going to click on the file that I would like to insert, click on open, and the file is inserted onto the cutting grid for me. To cut this, I would then just insert my paper into the machine, point to the Send to eCraft button on the toolbar, click, tell it I'm feeding from the front again, and the file will cut. Once it's cut, feed it out by using the down arrow. You can then pop out the shape from the base card, and you can see they pop out really easily. You would then just assemble your cupcake wrapper to make a lovely 3D project. We're now going to have a look at how to cut multiple complex images from eCraftshop Pro software. Go to the My Library option in the top right hand corner of the screen. We're going to use the Fundamentals 1 cartridge and the flower section, and we're going to select one of the more complex flower images. By clicking on it, it's inserted it onto the page for me. What I can then do is resize this flower to a size and shape that I'm happy with. I'm then going to copy the flower and paste it onto the page. I'm then going to move it and resize it a little bit smaller. I'm going to do the same with this image and move them on the cutting mat to a position I'm happy with. And I've just resized that a little bit smaller again. What I'm actually creating are several layers so that I can make a beautiful 3D flower for a craft project. I would actually like another layer on here, so I'm going to go back to the library. I'm going to select that flower again, and then I'm going to move it on the page and resize it. Once I'm happy with all of the shapes and sizes that I'm going to cut, I'm going to load my paper into the eCraft machine, which I've already done. I'm going to point to the toolbar at the top of the screen, and I'm going to click on Send to eCraft. The verification window will pop up in the centre of the screen so that the software can check that I've got the correct cartridge inserted into the eCraft for it to cut from. Click on Check. It will check that I've got the correct cartridge inserted. Green thumbs up means I'm okay, and I can proceed to cut. I'm feeding the paper from the front. The eCraft will now cut the shapes for me exactly as they appear on that cutting mat. When it's finished, feed the paper out of the machine by using the down arrow. You can then pop out the flower shapes from the backing sheet, and then what you can do is layer those shapes to create a beautiful floral bloom such as this. And now I've covered the more advanced cutting features, it's time for you to experiment, play and have fun.